Hey guys, it's Mr. Will here. So, today in class, we talked about the grand staff. We built everything up for that grand staff. So, we're going to do a quick review today to make sure that we get all of the ideas of the grand staff before we continue to move on. For those of you that don't know, I am Mr. William Akins, and I work with Mr. Jacob Reinhardt in conjunction with Ross Music Theater and Eminem Productions. We have the Studio 219 project that we run over at the Eminem Studio Theater in Hobart, Indiana. And today we are going to be talking about the grand staff and all of the components that go into it. Welcome to Mr. Will's music class. All right. So, we're going to get started. So, today, my students and I, we went through all of the pieces of the grand staff. This was actually our final review wrap up, and they were introduced to the bass clef. So this is just some things to get going into it. So for my guys, you know where we were when we last left it off. For those of you that are watching for the first time, hopefully this will be a good refresher, or maybe you're learning something new. You can always go back and review, slow things down if you need to. So let's start with the treble clef, okay? So the treble clef is also called the what for my students? I'll give you a second. That's right. It's called the G clef, and that G clef looks a little something like this. So remember, that's the G clef, and it's called the G clef because wherever that little squiggly line is where the G is. So that bottom line is E, that next line up is going to be G, no matter what. Wherever that cross point is with the little squiggly hooky do is always going to be G, no matter what, forever and ever. Amen, amen, amen. So what we now need to determine is what else are the rest of the notes on the treble clef. So remember, we learned that every good boy does fine for all the lines, and then FACE for all the spaces. So the spaces spell face, and every good boy does fine. And you guys came up with your own little idioms and things that you that helped you remember what those were. So that's what it's always going to be, okay? So it's always going to be every good boy does fine and FACE. And remember, we build things up in music from the bottom, okay? We don't build them from the top down, we build them from the bottom up. So if I ask someone what is the third line, I mean the third line up. I don't mean, well, I guess the third would work both ways, but I don't want you to start at F and work your way down to B. If I want the second from the top, I'll say the second from the top, or I'll say what is the fourth line, and that's going to be the D, okay? And remember, they play in conjunction with each other. You just go letter by letter. So it's E, the line, and the next space is F. And then the next line is G, and the next space is A. So on and so forth, just like that picture on the screen. So remember, we have all of these things that help us out and that they lead into each other. So we're going to remember that those go F, it goes F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and then F. And that actually keeps going all the way up, okay? So that's just the treble clef, or the G clef, and it's called the G clef because wherever that line goes through, that is going to be G. So now it's time to take a look at the other one that we looked at, and that was the bass clef. Yeah, the bass clef. So that bass clef is going to be wherever those two dots are, the line that they are on each side of is going to be the F. So remember, we didn't have any fun words like face or anything, but we did have lots of cool things that we, the all cows eat grass, or the good boys do fine always. And once again, you came up with your own things to learn what that meant. So all cows eat grass, good boys do fine always. All right. And so once again, those lead into each other. So there's an A, that first space is an A, but if you look, that second line is a B, and then C, D, E, F, G. They actually go straight in order. It actually goes straight in order. All right. So it's not like there's anything absolutely special about it. There are lots of different ways that you can look at it, but it's not that it's super like, it's not rocket science. You know, there's a there's some method to it. So when you put those together, remember we called that the grand staff, okay? So I'm gonna put one of those on the screen for you here. So that right there is the grand staff. It goes all the way from here, going from the bottom up, like I said. So this one happens to start on an E, but we started on that G, that first letter right there, that G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. Now notice right in here it says B, C, C, D, but we talked about this today. There's an imaginary line that runs through the middle of that staff right there, that grand staff, and that imaginary line is C, because we need line, space, to make all of this work. So that's line, space, to make all of this work. All right, so that is the crash course. That's the refresher. So that is what we're going to use now, and we're going to build upon that. We're going to learn how this actually all works together. But I wanted to be able to come and talk to you and give you another chance to be able to memorize it and to learn it and to look at it. And this is going to be, you want to learn this. You want to get this all in your head. Don't worry about those extra lines here and these extra lines here. We don't care about that. We only care about the main portions, okay? So from that G down here all the way up until the F up here. This is the only portion of the staff that we care about right now. We'll start to get into those other things later, okay, guys? So that is going to do it for us here today. And that will be, what we're going to look forward from here on out. That's what we're going to look to, is building upon those different things right there. And those will be the things that help us in going forward. So remember, if you have any questions at all, anything you want to ask, there we go. Sorry. If you have any questions, anything you want to ask, you're always more than welcome to email us at studio219music@gmail.com. My friend Jacob and I would be more than willing to help you. And for my students, you're always welcome to email us things that you forgot to ask during class or things that you want to go over extra, okay? So, guys, my name is Mr. William Akins. I represent Ross Music Theater, M&M Productions, and the Studio 219 project. I hope you have a great rest of your evening. I think it is raining outside if you're watching this video, within the next couple of days, but it is starting to get cold, so make sure you dress appropriately, and I will see you guys really, really soon, all right?